and so I put my phone in Chinese to help keep. You know, I spent a year studying in a university in China, studying Chinese, and I'll be darned if I'm just going to let that go away. So I got to keep exercising my mind on that. Yeah. Well, you speak Texan too. You got a couple languages under your belt. All right. Well, I'm going to do the audio check in the show, so you'll see me a little bit distracted at some point, but let's go ahead and start. 3, 2, 1, transition. Hey, welcome to TDD.Academy, where I, Lancer Kind, Agile Coach, and we have solopreneur David Kuntz over here talking about his iOS apps. His vast library of iOS apps he's selling in the App Store. Boom, boom, boom. They're like the IHOP. Yeah, you heard it here, folks. He's the IHOP of iOS. Oh my goodness. Hang on, I gotta stand up and clap. You know, thank you for admitting you have a problem, David. That's always the first step to recovery. From the day one, right? No test, legacy code, automatically. Yes, there we are. That's a big step forward. It's okay. We did have a show about marketing, so we could help you with that tens of dollars and add some more zeros after that. Wow. Oh, that's a good tip. Oh, you're driving it up again on me? Oh, man. All right, that's a good tip. That's a hot tip, everyone. You heard that here. TDD.Academy stock tip. Our first. That was another show first. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. All right. Yeah. Hmm. Just sent you a request for control. Well, I might start sending emails and stuff. That's what everybody's worried about. Like, oh, what if you? You're right. They're trying to. I don't know. They're worried everybody's crazy, which some people are. But you know me. So, so what I was gonna tap on here was this is the setup for the test. You're setting up the object, and this is, I believe, also the setup for the test. You're doing something with selected count. You're incrementing something. Ah. Okay. So you have a test for your setup. That's cool. That's a little weird, folks. But you know what? If it's a little complicated, it doesn't hurt to. Well, if you know it's going to work, why would you test it? But because this isn't code, how do I say it? That XCT assert is testing your test. It's not testing your product code. It's just. -5 because you have 5 selected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 selected. Okay. There's no functionality. There's no product functionality. So am I correct in saying there's no product functionality being checked or validated with that? Okay, so that's all right. If I'm like feeling uncertain about something, I'll throw in an extra XCT, an extra assert to make sure that who's crazier, the computer or me, and then I find out. It's usually the computer's right, unfortunately. And then now he's calling the function that he wants to actually test, and then he has a loop here to get the selected count out. All right. And then check to see if it's what you expected, which is, what do we got here? 0. Oh, because, all right, so this is interesting. So tell me about that. Because you cleared it all. Okay, sorry, that's why. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Got it. So that looks good. The only weird, like I said, the only weird thing was the extra cert, but it's not super weird. It's just like, oh, I wonder what's going on there. Oh, I see. You're double checking something because you're unsure that your setup is working right, and so if you were confident, you probably wouldn't even bother with the first XCT assert. But I do the same thing when I'm having questions. I just like, okay, let me ask the computer by adding an assert in there. So you got. Let's run it. Let's show the audience that nothing's up your sleeves, David. We're very suspicious people, the audience of TDD.Academy. Boom. It still passed. What? How's that possible, David? You were reformed. You were doing TDD. You wrote a test. Are you saying you didn't write enough? Oh, man. How many 10-step programs do we have to do here? That's step 1, I suppose. I don't know. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Hey, let's confirm it. Do you mind? I'm going to do something called dun 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 defect injection. We're gonna intentionally put a bug in there and see if the test still passes, because it's going like, oh yeah, everything's great, and that will visibly prove that the test isn't working as fully, or yeah. So we could just do, so usually the simplest thing is just to use comments, though we could like actually change the numbers, but that might get more complicated than we care to. Okay, so now I took some code out, and David just told me that if I do that, because he doesn't think it's tested, the test will still pass. Let's see, this is which test again? Why don't you go and run it? You probably know where to find it faster. Okay. All right, so just as you said, it still succeeded. Now let's go a little further. Let's go back there and add more defect to make sure the part that you hypothesize is covered actually is covered. So what line of code could you take out that would, there you are. Yeah, well just, do whichever you care to. Either take it out, change it, whatever. All right. Yeah. Because we're like double checking something now. Because you said your hypothesis is that line's covered. All right, it failed. And then this is a case where you look at your error message like, oh, asserted 5 is not equal to 0. So you're right, David. You're absolutely right. You were right to mistrust yourself. So let's go back to that. Yeah, be suspicious. So let's go back to that. Yeah, go ahead and put back that line in because you got it covered. And there's another trick. Let me try this one. This one I've gotten caught on this one myself. Is sometimes, but I think you're fine. Sometimes if you take out the loop, but based on how you've built it, I'm pretty sure you're good. Oh, card is a var. Yeah. So we'll have to do a little bit of funkiness here. What type is that? Okay. Yeah, I could put it equal to something, you're right. In card. So I could just do this. Yeah. All right, let's do that. Let's do var card equals cards. Let's pick one out. Is it like? Go ahead. Yep. Yes, please. I'm trying to mess up your code, David. Cool. So it says card in cards. So cards is in scope because your for loop is referring to cards. Yeah. So since cards is in scope, I'll drive for a second. And I know cards has to be in scope because it was in scope for your loop. And then cards. And then the part I'm having trouble with is I don't know if this is a dictionary or what, but I just want to grab the first element. Maybe there's an index. There we are. Is there a first element? Oh man. But let me just do index. I know how to work with that one. 0. Okay. Cross my fingers and see if that works. Oh, it didn't match. All right, index. Do you want to drive? You know how to. Maybe we just need a square bracket. I didn't put a square bracket. Well, there we are. But see, then it says value of tuple. All right, so this is already okay. You have a key value in the dictionary. Oh, yeah. We're working with tuples here. So you have the comma here. Okay. So I don't know if we can do. Wow, testing my brain out here. I haven't used tuples a lot. So key, comma, card, and then this can be a let, And I have no idea if this is proper syntax. And compile. Wow. Wow. All that reading this Swift book is paying off a little bit at a time. Here's the, yeah, good. Well, yeah, as much mucking around we did, it probably wasn't going to be happy with this. But so notice, here's the hint that it was a tuple, is see this, what I've highlighted there? It's because the underbar there was your key that you don't care about. And I guess we could have used an underbar here too, and that would have been equivalent. So the main thing is we know that you need the for loop to make the test pass. So what we have just done, folks, is we were exploring what was tested and what wasn't. And then so that we can then move into another strategy for adding test coverage to this called Reverse TDD. And so now let's go ahead and run the test. We think it'll pass. And then we'll enter into the feedback loop of Reverse TDD. Echoey? Oh, I do, but that's gonna take more work. I need to get some special effects in this studio. That's what I need. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now you have code that's commented out. Now your goal here, David, if you choose to go down this path, is to write tests that require you to uncomment each of those lines of code. And using TDD, you want to write the next simplest test or enhancement to your existing test. It's up to you. That will allow you to uncomment some of that code. And this is the reverse part of that TDD. It's called reverse TDD because David wrote the code. He tested a little bit, but he wrote more code than was necessary. He broke the 3 laws of TDD. Yes, right. Isaac Asimov did the TDD laws too, you know. You didn't see those, did you? Oh yeah, so anyways, I totally lost the train of thought there. But anyways, yeah, so add to the test the next simplest thing you could add to the test and run it to get the test to fail so that you're allowed, because David, you're not authorized to change production code without a failing test case. So see if you can do it. Let me look at the. Sorry, I'm gonna make a tab. We'll get it. I'm gonna make a tab so we can do a little side by side work here, and then we'll go back to that test because I can't. You know the code; it's in your head, and it's not in my head yet. And I'll let you fix that or whatever's going on. How come? Okay, I'm trying to find the code. Is it card or is it deck? Deck. How do I do this? Do I drag it over there? Oh, we changed the wrong test case or something, or? I don't know. You can fix it. I'm not sure what did I do? I did something wrong. You're saying, but I don't see it. So. Code under test. Yeah. Oh, here it is, line 41. on the left-hand side. Well, I guess we'll run the compiler and the test and fingers crossed. Or you could undo. Oh, yeah, we have some setup code to do too. Hmm. Oh, this is interesting. To do some setup. So think about a simple setup. Uh-oh. Hmm. Uh-oh. David, I do not have your audio. That is not good. Hang on a second. How did that get by? Let's fix that. Okay, so I am not getting your levels in the sound system. Let me fix that, and then we'll continue. So go ahead and pause a moment. I'm gonna just flash the other screen for a moment while we fix that. Oh, failed our sound check. Okay, so I have Zoom audio going to the right place, right? Yeah, what happened earlier is I thought we passed the sound check, but that was probably just me. I mean, I probably only heard myself. And here we are, there's the Zoom. There's Zoom. Give me the Zoom toolbar. Oh, Zoom, what are you doing here? Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I remember this being sometimes a quirk, and then that means you gotta watch it more. Test, 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 and then if I change you to that, go ahead and say something. All right, and then if I switch you to, oh, I just didn't switch it to the right thing, I bet. All right, now to speak.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, I
Testing.
failed. I mucked that up. All right, cool. So we'll recap a little bit here. So we're still streaming. Let's switch back to the show. And, okay. So, folks,
Tell me where we are.
We caught a technical difficulty there. Realized David's dulcetone voice is not making it over there, so we had to fix that.
I can speak louder over here in Texas. It'd carry.
1 second here. I gotta fix something else now. I gotta get you back in full screen so I can get you in your glory. Yeah, there we are. Nice. That's actually working the way it's supposed to. Okay, cool. All right, so folks, you probably didn't hear David a while back, but yeah, we're we're doing the reverse TDD in the what's the name of this app again, David? It's
This is InspireMe Cards app, and we're doing a rewrite for a whole different app. It'll come out with a new name in different cards, of course, and different content, but it's the core of a digitized card deck. And the function we're working on is clearing selected attributes or properties of a card. And we've got the test over here. This is the test over here. And then the actual function over here, we've got the functional code commented out. This is the Lance Kind trademarked
Patented,
reverse TDD method.
right.
So he's got me over here trying to make the simplest thing I could possibly think of to make the test start to fail because it's currently passing.
Yeah, and we need you
so
enhanced
we need
the test. That part's
yeah, I
correct.
think I have, and I think I've got enough in here that this assert's going to.
Except we need to go to do some setup. So I think in the setup, we probably have to actually set some bits in there so that it can has something to clear. So because the precondition you want to set up is something that's not clear. Yeah.
Card 1, we'll say, and we'll put rating number equal to 2 or 3.
Yeah,
We'll try
matter.
3 because
main
that's
thing
the
is we want it not clear.
Yeah.
And is that enough? Is that the minimal thing that would make it messy?
I think so.
All right.
I think I got enough.
I think so too.
You
just need one thing in there and you're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's my
failed.
equal sign that I lost a minute ago.
Oh, let's find that little guy.
Where is this guy? He's over here somewhere.
Lost equal sign. Hello.
The lost equal sign.
Hope it's not in that line. That line looks icky.
I wonder what that should have been. It didn't.
2, 3. I think that's what it's supposed to be.
2, 3?
Well, I'm just assuming that the equal got added and the rest is normal.
Yeah, that's
no, that's true. I would undo. Just do some undoing in this. Control Z that baby. Yeah, keep going. There you are. Boom.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. Okay.
Wow, we're doing extra bug injection. We're doing defect injection like in random places now, David. This is pretty advanced, you know. I wouldn't even try this unless I had really good code coverage. So you're a pretty confident guy.
Back to a succeeded build. All right. All right. Boy, every time I let you touch my code, it breaks.
Now you know why you don't want to give anybody a permission to control the screen.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So build succeeded. So now we should be able to run the test, and the test should fail.
Let's see. Boom! You have a failing test case. Congratulations, David. You've now
I can write code now.
You have the. Let's see.
I have permission.
You have permission, right? You passed the first 2 laws of TDD. The first one is, thou shalt not write any product code without a failing test. Law number 2, thou shalt write as little test code as possible to create a failure. And now you're moving on to rule number 3. Thou can only write as much code to make the test pass.
Okay.
So in your case, it's you want to uncomment as little code as possible.
In this case, yeah, I'm going to move the comment line.
Ooh. Do a little drag and drop coding.
Yeah. I'm going to clean up my indents here. So that should clear out everything, and we'll see if we have a passing test. This would be... I understand my code.
Sorry?
I'm understanding my code. I got proof that I actually understand this. I know what's going on. Okay, so I didn't have to write any of this stuff up here for this one.
That is interesting. But yeah, you're right. I wonder if that's true for all of the other stuff too.
Yeah, so I think that's suggesting that I could probably just comment all this out and the test would still pass. Right?
Selected count. Let's try it.
Oh, it failed because I've got
Variable declaration. Using selected count there. There you are.
So the part that you were all kind of like thinking was not so good is not needed to test.
However, you don't know that yet. So my suggestion is go back and do some defect injection to prove that the that one line that was necessary. See if it still is necessary. So selected equals false on 161. Just comment out 161. The other one you don't care about. 162 you already have it covered. But let's see if it still fails if you put that bug in there. So yes, folks, this is when you're a really high level developer, you can intentionally put bugs in and learn something from your systems instead of accidentally putting bugs in and going like, whoa, what's going on with my code?
Okay, so if I comment out the thing to clear the selected count or the selected, then the count doesn't.
You don't care about selected count anymore.
Yeah.
And
so I can add this back in?
Yeah, put it back in. So because what you're maybe learning, David, is you broke rule number 2 of the TDD laws. Thou shalt not write any more test code than you need to get a test failure. And you have some extra code in there you found out.
Okay.
I still wonder about lines 20 through 24.
20 through 24. Yeah. Okay.
Why why do you need all those other lines in there?
You're saying
you need 24. I take that back, but yeah,
I could get rid of some of these.
Yeah, because we want our code to be as maintainable as possible, easy peasy, a glance, you know what's going on, and so we keep things as simple.
Okay, and if I run this, it's going to fail because I've got my counts off, or do I? No, I don't.
It's going to be cleared. Boom.
I don't have my counts off. I had my initial conditions off. The initial conditions are what I was...
Tell me you don't charge by the hour, bro. You're like adding more code there you didn't need.
I do charge by the hour as a matter of fact.
There's the truth, folks.
Yeah, there's the truth comes out. I'm getting rid of this.
Wait. Before we celebrate, though, you got to double check 161. So if you take it out again, will the test still fail?
Double check. Oh, wow. You're a...
If it doesn't, because if it still passes, we got to ask ourselves some tough questions.
Yeah, I'm with...
All right, it failed. Good.
All right.
Yay.
All right. So we
simplified something. That's really good.
Simplified our test case.
Yeah.
And can I now delete the heck out of these lines? Because commented out is no good for us. Because we don't use stupid print statements anymore.
That's right.
Okay.
The only good comment is a no comment.
And this line should probably go up here with the other line that's setting these things, just to clean that up a little bit. And now I'm just testing there because I expected that to be a refactoring that didn't change anything. Yeah.
I'm puzzled about that if statement too. The if statement with all the ors. You are double checking for as long as there are 1, 2, or 3. And in your current test setup, you only care about 3s, so you don't need all those if statements. You only need the equals 3 condition because you have control of your preconditions and you know.
Okay.
So you're being
I only care about them, but in reality, I mean, like I'm considering, I guess I know a little bit more about the code than, like I'm considering that a 0 would be cleared and that a 1 is a not cleared. And
right.
so I'm putting that logic into my test here, but you're saying for the actual condition,
you only are using 3 and you don't have anything caring about 1s and 2s in this test.
Yeah.
Now later, if you decide to like care about those things, then great. So I would say, I would suggest that you don't need the first 2 because your preconditions aren't creating those, right? There's nothing that's going to create it. It's impossible.
Okay.
Man, this thing's getting a haircut. It's going to show up. It's like it's all shaggy. It was like a mountain man code coming in here.
Well, it's
with its
COVID
backpack,
code.
just in case it needed other stuff. Like, I got my tools. I've got my cook stove.
Yeah, it's COVID code. Yeah. That's what it is. Actually, it's pre-COVID code, but it's legacy. It's a legacy code. So now I got to inject another. I've got to write the test for another case.
Yeah.
And make it fail.
Right.
So
unless you're done, you worked hard enough. I
want to test those other ones.
Okay. What's to go full reverse TDD?
Are you still with me here?
Full Monty, reverse TDD. Okay. Score. All right.
Better put a count on the end of that one. And we should probably refactor this one. I learned a new refactoring tool thing.
Yeah?
It's Command Control E. And it lights up all the places there on the screen. And then you can change the name of something.
Sweet. Shortcut. Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. And that's because that's a very common refactoring.
Yeah.
So it's really good to know the shortcut of that. Command Control E. How am I going to remember that? What is E? Like, why E?
I don't know.
Everywhere. Maybe. Change it everywhere.
Yeah, that'll help. Yeah. So I've got a score count now, and I need an if statement for score count. So if card dot score equals to I'll say 2. Then we're going to score count increment 1, and somewhere up here we have to inject that deck card 2 dot score equals 2. So we've set our precondition, we've created an if statement, and we haven't created an assert. And then we're going to have a score count, comma 0. All right, I think that's going to be a failing test. And if it is hey puppy dog, if it is a failing test, yay! I've got a 1 when I should have a 0.
Sweet.
Count of 1 when I should have a 0. So now I can come over here and move my comment. Oh, come on.
Moving it down 1. So it's kind of like a progress bar. And with reverse TDD, you can see what code you're creating coverage for.
And moved it down 1. Save that baby. Let it build. And run my test again. And it'll start testing.
Nice. Passed.
Okay, it passed.
Sweet.
So, do I have to inject the do I
Wow,
need to?
David, your stomach's making weird noises over there.
That's my puppy dog, Malibu. He's pretty smart, but he says he's got to go poop, is what he's saying. It's like, dude, got to poop.
Oh, boy.
So I've got to hurry up and write another failing
oh,
test.
no, it's like a manager. The dog, it's like a manager. Show up your desk. David, you done with that yet? Nice. We have a little pressure now.
Score selected, rating. What's the other one? Size. Size equals 3. I'm going to get rid of the $sign because it
That's a
shouldn't
fancy
be there.
thing. I thought you're going to do something fancy with that $sign.
And then I'm going to quickly do this the way I'm not supposed to. I've been taught that this is a bad thing because I mess them up a lot. But I believe that, I hate when that happens.
That got me off
Cert
of
equal.
Spring Tool Suite for we're doing Java coding. It just kept auto completing to the wrong things. I was like getting sick of it, so I moved on to new IDE.
You did?
Yeah, I'm using IDEA now for Java.
Oh, I've always wanted to do ideas for Java.
Yeah.
I mean, and the tool. I always wanted to do it, and no company I ever worked for would spring for.
It's come down in price. It used to be a lot more.
Eclipse is free. Why would you try it? Because it's better.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. My muscle memories. I'm not convinced it's that big of a difference, but a lot of the cool kids are not using Eclipse anymore. So.
That's interesting.
But I like using Spring Boot, so that's why Spring was something I've used for a long time. So I usually use what my clients use, quite frankly.
Okay.
Well, we have a failing test now?
No, we have a passing test.
Oh, David. That's a problem, bro. You can't change the code yet. So card size is -1 in the code you comment out. What's that about? You have a -1?
Yeah, that was my precondition because a card size can be a 0. And that's, to me, that's a properly set size. So I actually have to
check for -1.
I got to.
Or you can use an or actually just use -1. Right now you don't know that you need an or. What? Hang on a second. Why would we do this? I'm confused again. So it's going to go through the loop and it's going to set it to 0 when So clear's going to set to 0. That makes sense. But then you set 1 to 3 and you didn't get a failing test case because your card this if earlier it was tested if it's equal to 3. Is that right? Maybe we found a bug because I don't know why this size count, card size, and
I just undid it. I think it was 2.
Oh, we had a mistake. So you want to change that to 3. Yeah. There's a refactor we can do to reduce that.
If size equals 3, then I want to add 1. Okay. Let's run that again.
Oh, I see what we could do to make that tighter.
There we go. Now, yeah, there we go. Okay.
This one's a little bit weird. So your test, now I expect your test to still fail after this. It's okay though. Run it again. Because I don't think your test is misspecifying the size count.
Test succeeded.
What? Now I'm shocked. So why didn't card size we have an assert for this. Assert card size equal 3. Oh, you're counting the number of threes. And now it's set to 0 instead of -1. Why is that passing?
It's set to all of them are set to -1,
Oh,
except
David.
for one of them is set to 3. So,
Okay, so if you're gonna
what
do
am I
this,
missing?
if you're gonna do this, you have to initialize your size count to -1 up in the var for size count.
Up here?
Yeah, not that one, not that one. Line 28. So you have to initialize it the same way. The text.
That's the, well, no, that's the count.
Oh.
We're going to count from 0, 1, 2, 3.
All right,
however
so
many are in
the
there.
counter's never going to be minus. So you initialize your count to 0. I think it's working, but the thing is, it's not correct. Okay, so here's how you know this. So you now have the reverse TDD a little bit deeper into this. We have to go to the next level, David. On line 164, change that -1 to a -2. Or that. and run the test, see if it still passes. Still passes. So if you really want -1 in there, you're going to have to figure out how to write a test so you can put -1 in there.
So, yeah, so I think what we found is if I forget the minuses here, suppose I set all my cards to 8s. I think my clear function,
you're not seeing what you're clearing it to. That's why how you tighten the loop. Right now you're just counting if what you set up in your precondition goes away, but you're not assessing whether it's cleared in the way that you care it to be cleared.
Yeah. And so am I doing that in these other cases?
The other cases you happen to care, so it's a little bit true. So like that line 36 through 42, everything hinges on those if conditions doing the right thing. So there's some complexity we still have in there. But let me think about this. All right, let's do some refactoring on this. So we know we have a test pass. We know we have a bug because we don't want 8. But let's look at that code there in line 37. So if card selected equals true, then we're just counting it. So how about this? Let's change the logic here. If card selected equals true, how about just assert failure? XCT assert failure. Because you know if you're counting anything, you're not cleared, right? Yeah, or false, whatever it's called.
You need an expression
That's
there.
Different. All right, let's see.
Yeah.
You might have to pull up a browser and see what.
Well, I can do this. So that'll cause a failure, right?
Yep. And so go ahead and run the test and observe. You can. How do I say this?
All right, that's for selected, and I think selected's working, right?
Yeah, right. So this is a weird situation where we're actually refactoring the test code, and now you need to also take out a line. You should take out your line 44 because you don't need it if you are that for loop. If it finds anything not selected, cleared, I mean, it will exit, right? It will throw failure. So you don't need that line. All right. So now you don't care about those variables and things either. But don't remove it quite yet. Let's just double check it that this strategy is going to work by inject a bug on 161 and observe it fails. Because before we commit to this strategy, we want to make sure it works. So now you expect it to fail, and if it fails, great. It's a strategy that we can use for testing this. All right. You've confirmed that that's a winning strategy. So yeah, go ahead and clear out the counters you had in there. Selected count you don't need.
Selected count I don't need.
You don't need. and it's all good. Okay, and then, you know, we can repeat that process for everything else that you have in there. So like the card rating.
Yeah, okay. That's a weird statement sort of
Yeah.
thing. It's probably a less verbose way to do that.
Right.
I'm expecting. So now, I did that on a broken test, but
now you have to, you can ask yourself a couple of questions. You know, well, if you cared to be really diligent and careful, you could then do the same thing we just did a moment ago, is confirm that the strategy works. But if you feel pretty good about it, you know the strategy will work, you can go a little faster by just getting rid of line 43 and get rid of the variables that are related, the ratings. Ratings? Which one is it? Yeah, I think it's ratings.
ratings, yeah.
And get rid of that line, and then get rid of the line up there because we don't count. We don't count anymore. And cool. And the test should still pass. And if you want to double check it, you could. It's probably not a bad idea before we move on to the next one. It's really easy to undo the mistake when it's in context of your brain.
So, yeah. It's
when you try to
test
batch these
should
up into
fail.
big batches, then it gets harder. All right, cool. Yeah, you feel pretty confident about that now, right? Yeah. So keep going. Same strategy.
Okay. Test that again.
Yeah, you get rid of your score count and your score count variable stuff. It's interesting. We're reverse TDing your code, the test code.
The test code, yeah. But I like this inject the failure that the technique that you're not just going, oh yeah, it passed, so I can move on. That failure injection of the thing that you think is actually being tested is a smart technique.
Yeah.
So many times you make a typo or a logic mistake, like with this card.size thing, where it's like, wait a minute. So now this one's a little bit more, is this one the same thing?
All right, so if you find a 3, it didn't clear. Isn't it that simple?
If I find a 3, it didn't get cleared. Yeah.
Or you could even...
No.
Yeah. We can tighten
it could
that
have
up
gotten...
more.
Huh?
Which one is this? This is size, right? So,
yeah.
So actually, you know that size should be -1, correct?
Yeah.
So it should say something different. That if condition should say if card size is unequal to something, then fail.
Yeah.
And then you could actually probably change. We reverse our logic on all those, and you're actually testing for what you expect clearing to do rather than searching for things that you set up in the precondition.
Yeah, there's way too much negative logic in this for my little pea brain.
Well, we'll save that for later. But this one you need it. You need to say if it isn't equal to our cleared, or whatever clear means.
Our cleared value. Yeah.
And then you don't need 942, and you don't need line 20. Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
26 is up there.
So now this should be, I'm going to try and get my test back running or working. Test works. So now I'm going to get rid of these. And this has gotten a heck of a lot simpler. The test code.
Yeah.
So now I'm testing.
Okay, yeah. So we don't know that you're actually resetting things to 0. It could be resetting
Yeah.
score to like 100, and we're just not checking for it. So if you go back to your if statement, pick any of those. Like it maybe the 33. We can start do top down again. So I would say this: check and make this loop's job, the for loop. We need to change its job. Its job is to confirm that everything has been cleared. So
Yeah.
you want to say if card selected equals false, you're
If
happy
card
and you don't have to
selected
do
equals
anything.
false.
Yeah, you're happy and you don't have to do anything.
Okay.
But if it's unequal to false, that's it. If it's unequal to false, then you're not happy. You're angry. You're going bad
And
code.
I want to fail.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And there should be a fail. I don't know. Anyway. And if rating 1 to 3 is not 0,
Yeah.
I want to not in there. Not 0, then I want to fail. And if score's not 0, I need a not. And if that's not equal to 1, I want to fail. So that should all pass now. And I'm going to go over here and test succeeded, and I'm going to inject a score here by going, that's a 10, and I'm going to test it and see if I get a failure. Test failed. Okay.
And if you wanted to be super tight, I probably wouldn't go this far personally because I'm pretty confident, but you could go to each one of those initialization conditions and stick in a random thing like 10s or whatever and confirm it fails. But I'm satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I'm satisfied. I got a much simpler test for everything than I actually started with for just one of them. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's.
And you've proved to yourself and to the audience out there that you've covered all the code.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lance.
You bet. Yeah. So
I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, it is. I think so too.
You got to go shovel some snow, don't you?
You know, the audience can't see my backyard.
Oh, they can't.
That's only for you, David, in Zoom.
Oh, okay. That's.
Yeah. So, folks, if you've written some code accidentally that you didn't write tests for, go ahead and comment it out. Just like make it a giant defect, right? Boom, it's all gone. Oh no, it's all gone. I'm crying, right? And then go ahead and
write a failing
tests that one by one force you to uncomment the code.
Reverse TDD that thing.
That's reverse TDD. Yeah. I'm going to say this, David. Your case is a little bit. Typically, what we would have to do is write another test for the for loop, but you got lucky, I think, because you have deck.card10, deck.card1. You kind of created the condition where you needed to use the for loop. So basically, it's this. In another circumstance, you may have had to add another test to prove that you can iterate something because you don't have a specific test for that. You happen to have done it because you set all those preconditions that required it. So that's there's nothing wrong with that. But I was asking myself, why don't we always? Because usually I always have to do this. Why don't we have a test for iteration? But you did it because your conditions are card 10, card 1, and card 2.
Okay. I've got some questions to ask you about that whole aspect of having cards up here. I've got this whole big initialization stuff with number sequences and card sequences, and then you zip them together. This was a really cool thing I found. This zip these two things. Hey, quit, puppy dog. You zip these two things together.
David, aren't you done yet? Aren't you
done? Yeah. I'm done. And yeah, so I'm playing around with things beyond my typical arrays and primitives, and I have an obsession with those primitives. So Um,
Oh, I saw a good primitive session on my day job. It was pretty crazy. There was about 10 parameters on that bugger, and it was all primitives.
uh,
It was a tribe. Uh, what what does zip do? Is it the zip?
Zip is like a zipper. It takes those two sequences and zips them together in perfect harmony and passes them as tuples into the dictionary so that the dictionary can be created with tuples that match up.
Wow. Okay, there's some fun there.
That is some fun. Yeah. So I've got all this stuff up here. So because you won't let me use JSON files, no, that's not why. I actually put all this stuff in the. I'm gonna move this over a little bit. I put all this. This is just the data for the app. Okay.
All right, what are we looking at here? We are in deck, init, and this is for the designer, or is this really for the app?
This is the model of the app, the only model code, and it's not in the init. The init ends here. This is the init right here. So this is what are they called? Stored properties. Yeah, they're not computed. They're stored properties, I think.
You're talking about var card 0 is a property?
Yeah. It's a property that is a property of type card. And all those things get put into an array called a card sequence.
This is your data. This is your data. I mean, this is production data, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to put it somewhere, and if you had a lot of it, you'd use a database or a service, but you have a static set of data. So yeah, this looks fine. I mean, maybe you could put it in an object that declares that single responsibility that this is, I don't know what you would call this data, but this is production data for one of your, so you want this to be a application agnostic framework so you could make mini apps that do the same kind of card stuff.
Generally speaking, I would like it to get more generalized as we go.
So that data is not going to work for you at that point. That data is only for one of your many possibilities. So it seems like you need to modulize that by, how would you do that? Okay, yeah, I think we'll have to think about that one. Because you're going to want to modularize it outside of your common library. So you want a separate module for this specific app data. And then your library needs a way to, like, when anybody drops
get to it,
adds a module that it can get to it, like you said, and then you can switch different modules beneath in your framework. Just picks it up and deals with it.
Yeah,
So
I haven't bothered. I haven't bothered to factor that out, but that would be sweet to be able to do and get, and then have the core of the app be agnostic about which set of cards. But then there's also going to be, well, this particular person wants these features and this person wants these features, and I'd like to have them, like a feature set that I could mix and match, but that'd be later on.
Yeah, you're speeding down the road towards modular feature sets and a common library across
multiple apps, multiple products. Yeah.
So you got to think about, you're going to be thinking about reference architectures, I think, pretty soon. Like, okay, what does that look like? What does the end state look like? My data is going to go blah. My common stuff is going to go in this module, and my verticals I build on top of it will be probably a custom module for each vertical. And then those custom modules from each vertical are going to need to, they are going to need to know how to call into your common module, which is your framework. And then your data, your framework needs to know how to get to your data. Actually, that data will be part of the custom stuff. So that makes sense that the framework will be at the bottom if you do it pictorially. And that'll be one module, and then everything else each app specific thing will have its data. That pattern will be common. You always have that one pattern where you got, I don't know, you're going to call it data, whatever, data blob, something, whatever, to your card data. And then, I don't know, the other stuff, the other custom things will be built on top of that.
Yeah. I need a real architect is what you're telling me, but you know, that's not
sure
me.
You're gonna crack open a book and become one. To me, this is the Swift modules, man. This is why we have modules in code. You're gonna so think of View Inspector. You've included that module in past shows, and View Inspector, your tests know about View Inspector code, but View Inspector doesn't know about your code, your test code.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So so you need to like figure out how to. You want to put your framework in its own module. That's the common module, and then the app-specific stuff will be built on top of that in a separate module. And then data, maybe in the same module, or maybe it's a third separate module. I'm not sure. That one I can't figure out right now. But.
Well, that's a completely different topic for the TDD.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, I got a clear selected cards thing good and tested. So I know a little bit about reverse TDD. That works.
Yeah. So I think that's a wrap, and we'll see you next week on TDD Academy.
Out of here.